I call hungry no more because you will be hungry no more.
Can you explain that?
If you eat the sandwich, you will be less hungry.
Less hungry or not hungry?
So much less hungry that there is no more hungry. Welcome back to the sandwich series. Over the next several episodes, I am sharing with you some of my favorite sandwiches. We just did the chicken banh mi. That is my favorite sandwich for picnicking. Be sure you check that one out. And today we are going to do my favorite sandwich for a freezer meal. And that is my Hungry No More meatball subs. I have a brilliant hack for how to freeze these meatballs so that you can have them later on this summer. So stick around for that. First, let's bring these meatballs together. I have a pound of ground sirloin, but you can also use a pound of ground beef. 80-20 chuck is my favorite. I also have a pound of Italian sausage. You can use any kind of sausage you want, hot Italian breakfast sausage. We are going to add in 1 egg beaten, a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. I usually use grated, but I only have shredded. That's fine, cheese is cheese. 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs, 3 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1 tablespoon of Italian herbs, 3 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce, 1, 2, 3, and 2 cloves of fresh garlic. That's tiny, so this does not count, but I'm going to use it.
Wow. What if people said that to you?
Oh my gosh, they would just double me up. I'm still gonna use it. This is garlic math. Garlic math. This is 2 cloves of garlic. 1, 2. Garlic math. To get them to take their little coats off, we need them naked. Naked garlic. Garlic loves to make an exit out of its clothes. I mean, look at this. Look at this little vest. Naked garlic. And this garlic, that does count. Naked garlic. Just gonna add them in here. Now we are going to mix this mixture together and form our meatballs. I'm scrubbed in. Listen to me. Why in the year 2024 have I gotten on to food safe gloves? Why? I love them so much. I don't use them super often, but when I'm especially when I'm like having to mix meat like this, it just really helps me get in there a little bit more. I mostly use them when I'm like mixing the meats. Make sure that this is well combined, but we don't want to overmix it. Looks like everything's in there nice and good. And now we are going to form our meatballs, which is also a procedure. I'm going to start forming my meatballs. I like to use a tablespoon or a large spoon to make them. I want them about 1.5 inches to 2 inches in diameter, because remember, these are going into a sandwich, so we don't want them too massively large. That's like my favorite size right there. And this will make about 20 to 24 meatballs. And we're only going to bake half of them. Stay with me now. This meatball is my prototype meatball. It's okay if they're not exactly all the same size. For the love, no one has time for that. Okay, but I do want to measure this meatball. Oh my gosh, yes, that is exactly like 2 inches in diameter. And you all, may I highly recommend a mini measuring tape for your kitchen. I actually use my mini measuring tape so much. I was constantly either getting asked about the size of things in my kitchen, or I myself was like, how big is this baking dish? Or like, how big in diameter are these meatballs? And then I was like, I'll just get a mini measurer. It's not as high as the chef's knife in importance. It's up there. I use it a lot, actually. Is that okay? Or does that say something about me as a person? I just want to know the size of things.
And you want answers.
I demand answers. Like I said, this is my favorite freezer meal sandwich. So now we are gonna freeze some of the meatballs. I like to do about 3 meatballs per sandwich. And so I am going to leave out 12 meatballs. That's gonna give me 4 sandwiches. And then I'm gonna freeze the other meatballs. Obviously, if you need more than 4 meatball sandwiches, only freeze how much you need to freeze. And I'm just gonna actually use my super cubes for this. This is not sponsored. I love using my super cubes. They're so great. I've got my meatballs in there. I'm gonna kind of like spread these out a little bit better for the baking. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. And don't worry, they are gonna finish off in the sauce, but I love baking them because that ensures that they stay nice and moist and they won't dry out. Now let's talk about freezing our meatballs. Some of you all might be like, okay, how long do they last in the freezer? Let's put that date on them. That's not the date I put on my freezer meals, because what will happen is I am gonna put the date on here 3 months from today, thinking, okay, these meatballs are gonna be good 3 months from today. But you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna get lost in the back of my freezer and I will forget about them. So what I'm gonna do is I am actually gonna put the date that I want to next eat them. Not only am I gonna put the date that I next want to eat them on, I'm gonna put that date in my calendar. So when I am meal planning 3 weeks out and I'm looking at my calendar, I'm gonna see on my calendar that it says that we are having Hungry No More meatball subs and that they're in the freezer. And I'll actually put it on the day before I want to eat them in my calendar so I know to pull them out of the freezer. It'll be a little reminder for me that says pull meatballs out of freezer. I usually do about 3 to 4 weeks out, and that will be April 30th. So I'm gonna put April 30th, 2024 is when we're gonna eat these again. And I'm gonna add it to my calendar and add it as a reminder the day before to pull them out of the freezer. Our meatballs are done, so I am just gonna take them out of the oven. They smell amazing. Oh, they look so good, you all. Time to finish off our meatballs. I just have a 24-ounce jar of homemade tomato sauce. Well, I didn't make it. Rayo's did. Homemade. Rayo's homemade. I really like the arrabbiata, which is the spicy marinara. I like the little kick it gives to my sandwich because my sandwich is gonna have like butter and cheese, and so I just like a little bit of heat. But you can use their roasted garlic marinara sauce or just their tomato basil. We're gonna get our meatballs in here and we're gonna let them finish cooking in the sauce, and then we are going to build our sandwich, which I call Hungry No More because you will be hungry no more.
Can you explain that?
If you eat the sandwich, you will be less hungry.
Less hungry or not hungry?
So much less hungry that there is no more hungry.
So the hunger will be banished?
Yes.
So you could call it the hunger banishment sandwich.
I think Hungry No More is better. I'm gonna stick to the marketing here. I like to cover the meatballs in the sauce just to keep them nice and moist before I cover them and just let them cook on low for about 10 minutes. Time to assemble our sandwich, and you all, I am using a sesame seed hoagie roll for these meatball subs. It is the perfect bread for these subs, and if you didn't catch it in my banh mi video, I feel like the type of bread you use can make or break your sandwich. I stand by that. I stand by that. So we have these hoagie rolls. I actually think there's a little too much bread on this side. That's a personal preference. But I like my meat to sauce to bread ratio to kind of be even. And right now there's just a little bit too much bread, and I want my meatballs to fit really nice in here. So I'm just gonna take out some of the bread. Again, personal preference. Just gonna remove some of it. Now we've got like a meatball pocket. Also, I love to make a sandwich very extra, and so I have some melted butter with a little bit of garlic powder in here, and I am just gonna get this all inside my sandwich as well as on the outside. It just adds another layer of deliciousness. Like I said, this is a Hungry No More sandwich. So I put some on the inside, but I also put a little bit on the outside. That butter is gonna get all nice and baked into your sandwich. Of course, now we need to add a little bit of salt because we are always salting our sandwiches. We're salting everything. 3 meatballs. They're just gonna fit right in there. Ooh, perfectly sized meatballs, if I do say so myself. We have our meatballs in there. I'm now gonna add a little bit of sauce. Again, this is your preference. Do you like a super saucy sub? Not so much sauce. You get to make it your own. I don't want too much sauce, but you know, a nice little amount, a condiment sized amount. That's perfect for me. And now cheese. I like using mozzarella, but again, this is a choose your own adventure, so feel free to put any kind of cheese you like on there. If you wanted to do Swiss, provolone, even Munster maybe, Parmesan, but I am just a basic bee when it comes to my cheese preference for my meatball sub, mozzarella. We have our meatball subs. I had to make 2 because the cameraman insists on eating. If your meatball subs are not standing straight up. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna kind of set them side by side like this. I'm gonna take some tin foil, make like a little log, and just set it right under it, just so it stays propped up. This one probably needs 2 logs, and this side looks like it's propped up nice. A little prop. We're gonna put these under the broiler until the bread and butter is nice and golden and the cheese is melty and bubbly. And here we have our Hungry No More meatball subs. You all, they smell so good. The garlic butter, the marinara, the meatballs, everything is working together. Also, I got them nice and golden brown.
Dark gold.
Dark golden brown in the broiler. Favorite color, dark golden brown. I'm gonna eat this now. I'm gonna go right in. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. This is so savory. It is so delicious. My hunger is leaving my body and I've only had 1 bite. Oh no, I'm gonna eat this whole thing right now. This is so good. I'm having a moment. If you are hungry, I cannot recommend more highly the Hungry No More meatball sub. Cheers. They're absolutely moistureful. What are they?
Moist?